There's a story behind every instinct, every leap of faith, and every heartbreaking moment. These are real athletes and real stories.
It took me to a place where I wasn't even totally honest with my parents.
Is the reason that I play strong enough to be able to keep doing it.
How old were you when your brother passed away?
I was 7. It's the reason why this family's so close.
Family, culture, and future define who they are.
It's really nice to hear that they're really proud of me. Probably the main reason why I play is my whole family.
There's no place for racism in our game.
For me, it was the man I wanted to be off the field.
Join me on this journey to discover what makes our greats the greatest.
I'm here talking about family, culture.
About my journey and my story.
This is Marlee and Me.
The new podcast is available on 9 Now and wherever you get your podcasts. One of the most exciting wingers in the NRL, the Cronulla Sharks' Ronaldo Mulitalo, has made a name for himself through his try-scoring acrobatics and a passion on the field that sometimes boils over and gets under his opponent's skin. Off the field, he's larger than life. A true extrovert that describes himself as someone who gets his energy from being around his teammates and having a good time. But Ronnie's path to the NRL has been anything but smooth and easy. Growing up in South Auckland before moving with his family to Queensland for a better life, Ronnie spent some of his childhood homeless and sleeping in the leaky garage of a family friend's. There were dark times and plenty of uncertainties, but it was the fearlessness and the strength of his mum which was the guiding light for Ronnie and his siblings through it all. Today, Ronaldo and I yarn about who he strives to represent in everything he does. His family, his Samoan culture, and his community. And Ronnie, well, he's an open book. This episode was recorded on the lands of the Darawal people. Well, Ronaldo Mulitalo, it is so nice to be here with you and on your very comfy lounge. This is a beautiful home. Thank you for inviting us in. Tell me about it. How long have you lived here? And it seems like a beautiful space.
Yeah, it's good. Obviously, thank you for coming. I feel like I'm doing a MTV Welcome to My Crib kind of thing. But I've been here since March. Enjoyed my time. I've got 5 bedrooms and there's only 3 of us living in here. So I've set up my gaming room that I've enjoyed, my little man space. But I really enjoy it with my partner, my dog, my little doggy that runs around.
Yeah.
So got him a bit of a yard and bit of some space to run around. So really happy with where I'm at and feels like life's coming together all together. So happy with it.
I love that. When we were organising a time for this and you said we're out in Engadine, which for people who live in the Sutherland Shire or know anything about it, Shire people go, oh, geez, it's not really the Shire. And you were like, it's a bit far to come. I was like, you've lived in Cronulla for too long because it's really not that far at all.
I always joke around and go, oh, boys, I'm driving from Wollongong. If I'm going to be late to a coffee, I'll be like, oh, boys, I'm coming from Wollongong. Take it easy on me. But, it's good.
Yeah, nice. And you said that you're living here with your partner. I think I was reading somewhere, was your brother living here as well? Or is he still?
Yeah, so Lorenzo lives here as well, my twin brother. He feels like my son there sometimes. So it's like looking after my little brother. But it's only us 3 and then the little doggy.
Yeah, I think a few people would have seen earlier this year when your brother Lorenzo made his NRL debut. It's clear you're really close. I mean, what's it like being a twin? Because I think some people might even be surprised that you are one.
We've shared everything from obviously the day dot. So it's just always been a constant love and hate relationship, as you do with your siblings. And he's just been like obviously my best friend since we can remember. So for him to obviously come over and all of his dream was to come here and spend time with me. Because I was getting a bit homesick, so he thought, why not come here and get a little crack. And Cronulla were good enough to say, oh, we'll give your brother a pre-season and stuff like that. And so that kept the fire burning for him. And obviously he's been at it for a long while now, and to finally achieve his goal, his life goal, that was real important for us. So I'm really happy about that.
Yeah. Speaking, you mentioned when you were feeling homesick there, I'm always quite interested in, like, so many athletes like yourself have to move around a lot to chase that dream and end up in places that weren't where you grew up. Where is home to you?
Yeah, I moved to Brisbane when I was 12, and then I spent some time there and from New Zealand. But for me, Brisbane is home away from home, and that's where my family is, my immediate family at the moment. So to me, that feels like home. Anywhere where my parents are, my siblings are, that's where I feel closest connected. And I always enjoy going back there and spending time with my mum, taking her out to dinner, seeing my little sister, sharing beers with my brothers and that. That's always the best part of my year at any point. Like whether whether I'm playing first grade or whatever I'm doing, I always look forward to that. And then obviously going back to New Zealand is always important as well. Like my grandparents and that are all there, but for me it's like I've moved. I still love it and I remember it so much, but I've moved on and I feel like I've lived in Brisbane for so long, and Australia has become home. And it's done so much for not only myself but for my family as well. So to be able to call that home back in Brisbane is important. And like I said, wherever mum and my siblings end up and dad, that's home for me, I guess.
Yeah, home is an experience and people a lot of the time, isn't it?
Yeah, the experience is exactly what you said.
So tell me, where did you grow up in New Zealand, and who were you growing up with when you were over there?
Yeah, well, I was in South Auckland, if anyone knows that. I was born in South Auckland as well, born and raised in Otara. And then like family, mum, my twin brother and my older brother Giovanni. And I obviously pretty well documented like my story about what we've gone through. But that's why I think I loved rugby league so much, was that the game didn't discriminate. Like there were people from all walks of life playing the game, and that's what I loved about it, was that whether you're from a family with money or whether you're from a family that didn't have any money, it was always one common thing, is that we loved football, and that's what I loved about it so much and enjoyed about it. Just spending that time with mum and dad and going through all those hardships and watching my mum sacrifice so much at a young age. And I was probably one of those kids that understood a lot at a young age, and I was a pretty aware kid. Like I knew what was going on around me at such a young age, and I was pretty alert to what was happening. And I definitely knew that things weren't right and things weren't normal, but I could see the amount of care and the amount of love and the amount of sacrifice that my mother put into not only our lives but for the betterment of our life in the future. And those constant nights of her seeing her seeing her cry and stuff like that, and no one wants to see that as a child. And like, I'm not here to say I've got the worst story, but that's the part of my story that I enjoy so much, and not enjoy, but like I look back at and reflect on a lot. But that's basically it. And then mum just decided, we're going to pack up life and take the risk of our lives and move somewhere that we've got no idea about and figure it out. And obviously you look back at it now and reflect on it and go, well, she made the big call, and it's obviously paid off. Yeah,
I think it's really interesting, because if people Google Ronaldo Mulitalo's story, there is out there, as you said, very well documented about the way that your mum and your siblings at that time were sometimes living in family friends' garages. Rather than rehashing what you've already told, having told it over the last couple of years, I mean, that was a brave choice. Why did you want to share that part of your story with the world?
Yeah, well, like I've always been an emotional person, and I'm not a shy person. Like it's not a pretty outspoken person, and I just thought when I was little, I always said to myself, I was like, oh well, if I ever do get to be this player or be this guy that I want to be, I want people to know about it. I wanted people to look at me and go, I'm in a similar experience, or these young kids from back home where I'm from, South Auckland, and be like, I've gone through that, or I've gone through worse, and there's light at the end of the tunnel. And I always wanted to be the superhero that little kids didn't have, and a role model for kids that, and it's not like everyone goes, oh, the football side. Well, for me, it was never the football side, and it never has been. I get everyone like loves seeing the player that gets out there for 80 minutes every week, but for me, it was the man I wanted to be off the field, and the way I attacked my life and the way I represented my people, my family, and my culture, and that's the person I wanted to be remembered as. And for me, it's still the same. Like, I don't really care about whether people think I'm the best footballer or best winger or whatever it is. Cool. But I want them to know that I sacrificed everything outside of my lifestyle for my community, for my mum, for my family, for my siblings and for my teammates. And as long as those people in my life know that I done whatever I could during my time, for however long I played, I think that's what's really important to me. If your legacy is looking after your family, your friends and your community, and that's your legacy you left behind, I'll finish it now. So that's, for me, I kind of look at that and go, that's exactly who I want to be, and that's exactly what I strive to be every day.
For me, my experience with the rugby league community and with players like yourself, it is always bigger than what you're doing on the field. I think that's like almost the culture of the sport, isn't it? Especially if you've, my dad played and he came from nothing, and for him, he looks at the game with such love and gratitude because it gives you that opportunity. But I mean, that's what makes the game so good.
You make the best mates of your life. Like, you make friends for life. You have memories for life that you'll cherish for the rest of your life as well. And you get to tell your kids one day that I got to play with Nico Hines, I got to play with, Wade Graham, Paul Gallen, and all these guys that are gone before us. And I've got to experience things. Like, the game's taken me across the world to England, Paris, where I never thought my wildest dreams that I would ever go to. And those are the things I really enjoy about it. It's the experiences that I've managed to rack up as I've gone along and represent my country as well, New Zealand. I've done Samoa as well, USA for my mum. So I've done a couple of things in my life now that I've really got to look back at and gone, man, this is what's good about the sport. This is how great it is that it has a power to bring everyone in, and you're all in the same playing level. Like, when you get into a team environment, you know what it's like when you're around the girls, and then it's just this even playing field. Whether you're the highest paid player or the lowest, you're just one person. So I really enjoy that.
You mentioned that you've been able to represent your culture, and that's something that's really important to you at every moment when you're playing rugby league. Tell me about, what does culture mean to you? How did you grow up understanding your culture? Yeah,
well, mum's American Samoan, dad's Western Samoan, so and I was born in New Zealand, so it was a kind of a mixture of everything, right? And for me, it was understanding. I always want to pay my respects to New Zealand, like and the indigenous people there, and the way they were. And the thing I love about New Zealand was that they were so invested in teaching everyone their culture, and it was like, from the day you could learn how to read or write, you learned their culture. So for me, that was important, and I learned so much about it, and it was just that diversity of it all, and then that, like, respecting that was teaching me to respect my own culture as well. And as I'm getting older, I'm starting to invest more into learning it. And mum's always been a strong advocate for it as well, and my older brother's really getting into it, like about our culture, speaking the language more, and that's like my dad's always been a big believer in it as well. So all that encompassing, like, all of that is something that is important to me, and it's something that I want to hopefully one day teach my kids.
It's a hard thing to articulate, but that connection to culture, that strength that comes with it. What is so valuable?
Just more my values, I think, that it holds, my culture, and it's the respect for elders. It's the respect for our parents. It's the humility you show towards them and humility you show to everyone else. The one thing I always try to be the nicest I can be when I'm ordering food. Like, it's weird, like, and that might be everyone, but whether I'm in a thing, that's something I always hold. Like, my mum was always nice to people. It doesn't matter where she was. Like, she was always particularly nice to people serving food and that, and like cleaning up your tables, like little things like that. I feel like my culture has done a real good job on, and respecting my parents. Like I'm 25 and I'm still scared of my mum. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm still scared to talk to my mum, like, or push the boundaries. I'm like, oh yeah, mum, like whatever, like. So I'm not like and for me, like some people go, oh, why do you do that? You're a grown man. Like I'm like, well, like for me, I was brought up for that, and I respect it and I love it. I'm a big mummy's boy too, so I don't care what anyone says anyway. So and like I go back to my grandparents and I try and take them out as much as I can, and like, and that might be for everyone as well. Like, and that's a good thing. I love that. But I just love how every culture's got their own uniqueness, and I respect it so much. Like I try and learn about other people's cultures. Like even I'm close mates with Braden Trindle, and obviously Nico as well. So for me, even like investing into the Indigenous people of here and the Aboriginal community, like I try and get out there with them as well and tag along, go, look, I want to come and show face and help out where I can. And just even like our Indigenous round, watching the boys tear up when we talk about representing their culture, and Indigenous round is something that we always want to make sure we go out and perform for them. Like that's something that we take very personal in our club, and I think that like, as we get along, I'm enjoying seeing the whole world get around everyone's uniqueness and their culture.
Yeah, I think again, rugby league's a space where it is so diverse. There's such a strong Samoan or Pacifica, Māori, Aboriginal representation that it means that you can have that freedom of expression of your culture.
Yeah.
I know that you guys at the Sharks around multicultural round and the like have been like you've had space to come and bring some of your culture to your teammates. What did you do? There's a couple of Samoan teammates that you've
I've got
got as well.
A couple of them, like Royce Hunt, Big Braden, Ueli. There's a fair few of them. But like we were all bringing things to. It was funny because the Tongans bought a big pig. Yeah. And Andrew Fafita, so we're all getting ready, like all the boys were getting ready to sit down and eat this big pig, and he just grabs with his bare hands, and this is the whole team, like so Fitzy, everyone, and he just grabs this bloody leg and just picks it up with his bare hand and goes, "See this piece, boys? This is my favorite piece," and then just puts it back. How are you gonna pick up? All the boys still give him stick about it. How are you gonna pick up a piece with your bare hands that you could have scratched your bum with, and picked your nose with, and put it straight back in the pole where you expect everyone to eat? So
oh my goodness,
that was pretty funny. Matty Moylan wasn't a big fan. You can only imagine him. He's a real picky dude, and he's trying to close his eyes. Said, if you don't want to eat it, don't eat it. Like you don't have to put on this brave face. But he gave it a go. But it's good. Like I enjoy watching everyone. It was funny. Like surprisingly, Sammy Stone Street was just ripping into everything. Oh yeah. He was loving. He's like, yeah, what's this, and just going hard. I was like, yeah, I love that. Like, yeah, it's just good.
Yeah, and does that when you're able to do that and have your identity be sort of the whole picture of who Ronaldo is, like as a footballer and as a proud Samoan man and etc. Does that then help you perform on the field?
Yeah, it gives you that sense of pride, like in a sense of belonging to the club. Like also, for Fitzy said it well, with Pacific Islanders, you got to understand that we're very territorial with things that we love. And so then for him it was, how does he get us to love this club so passionately, like our family, that we're willing to go out there and protect our right, and that's how he's done it, like, and that's how he's operated so far, and he makes it personal with us, because really, like, you look at Pacific Islanders, they're real laid back dudes, like Sifa, they're just like, yeah, whatever, happy go lucky, that is what it is. And for him to be able to go, nah, this is your family, this is what you represent, and bring that into our inner circles of things that we love and we want to protect with our lives, was smart on his end, obviously. And so when you get that in there, it makes you want to go out there and represent the club. I think Fitzy's done a good job of encompassing that all together.
I want to go back to your mum now, because I know you said you're still scared of her.
Yeah.
But like, she's obviously an incredible woman. Like you said as well, she made that massive risk and brought you guys over. What are some of the most important lessons that she's given you?
There was like this, like I was gonna get it tatted on me, but it's always sat in my head that she's always said, like, everyone always says it too, like things always happen for a reason. And that's just always sat with me. Like every time I didn't get picked as a young fella in a team, or I missed out, or injuries happened, big injuries have happened. Like I've had back-to-back shoulder injuries, knees, and I've just always referred straight back to that and gone, you know, everything happens for a reason. Like maybe it wasn't my time to do this. Maybe it wasn't my time. And when I was going through my hardest period of footy, my footy life with the Queensland saga and stuff like that, it was when I was sitting on my own, without any family members, without any teammates, because I didn't have any real teammates that were from my club there with me. No support system, really. It was like I was sitting in my room by myself, and it just felt so dark and lonely. And I just said to myself, well, like, I've gone through worse. Like, this isn't the worst for me. And this must have happened for a reason. There's got to be something bigger than this that's waiting for me. And there was, you know, I got the opportunity to represent New Zealand. And so that's something that I'll always keep close to my heart, and something that I always think about with my mum. And then, like I said, like the way my mum would treat homeless people in the street, they would see, she'd buy them food. She'd give her a shirt off her own back if she could too. And I'll watch this at such a young age.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have much money, but she'd give, let's say we had $10, she'll give half of it to this homeless man and go, this should be enough for us, it's all good. Like, and she was that type of person and still is. So, and just their work ethic, like, I don't know how women do it, man. Like, I got so much respect and deep love for them, and the way they operate. Like, I admire my partner so much of how much she can just keep pushing through things. And yeah, like I look at my mum as a real big pillar for myself. And the club asked me the other day, we had this like connection meeting, and we were talking about my mum, and I got real emotional about it. Like I always do with her, and because it's just, you just get filled with emotions of how much you love her, how much you're proud of my mum, how much I'm proud of my mum. And I always said, if I was, touch wood, it doesn't happen, but if I was to die tomorrow, I would be happy. Like, because I used to have nightmares about, oh man, I'm not going to achieve my dreams in front of my mum before she passes. And it used to scare the shit out of me. And I used to have nightmares about it every time. And then I've been able to do the best things in my life so far that make her so proud and make her so happy. And I've gone across the world, represented all my cultures, played over 100 NRL games in front of her, and I've bought her a house too. And it's just, I'm content with my life, and I'm happy with it so far. So yeah, no, like I said, if I was to pass away tomorrow, I would be the most happiest person to pass away, because I know my mum's looked after. I know she's been able to see things that she worked hard for. So that's something I'm real proud of, and things that will stick with me for the rest of my life, I think.
Yeah, wow. I mean, she must be the most incredible woman. Like, honestly, like, I think your attitude and the success that you've seen, and, you know, your siblings as well, they're a testament to her. Like, that's amazing. Like, does she, I don't know, how often do you talk to her after a game?
Every day.
Every
day I give her a call. And because the commute from Cronulla to it's a bit of a drive. It's a bit of a drive, 10 minutes. So much to complain about. But like as soon as I get out the gates of Shark Park, I'm telling Siri, call her straight away.
Yeah.
And whether it's a 2-minute call or the whole drive here, we just talk. Sometimes we just sit in silence, and it's weird. Like, we'll sit in silence for a couple of minutes, and it's just like nice to know my mum's there if I need to say anything. And sometimes I'll just make up stuff to just talk to her, you know, and she loves it too. Like, she'll be at work, talking about things that are happening at work, and I'll talk about my day, how my injuries are going, and she's always stressing out about how if I'm injured, she's like, oh, those boys are so big, be careful. I'm like, Mum, I'm a man now. Like, I've been only doing it for 6 years, you know.
Yeah.
She still gets worried as hell. She's like, oh, why did they touch you like that? I'm like, who cares? Like, it's all good. But yeah, like, every day it's a constant call, Mum. I was talking to the club. I said that for the first time, and since I can remember leaving home, I got homesick this year. Like, when I've come back for preseason, I just said it was the best Christmas I've had. And we didn't even do anything special. We sat in our house and we enjoyed each other's company and we spoke to each other. And had beers, shared drinks with each other, and it was just a real good time, a family experience. And I come home, and it was the first time I cried on my mum's shoulder for a while. Like, I just don't, I'm normally just like, yeah, mum, see you soon in a couple of weeks, you know. And yeah, that was the hardest thing, was like, I had to leave her, but it just something felt a lot more different. And no, but like I said, I'm an open person.
Yeah.
I came home, expressed it to my partner. I said, oh, like, something's a fear. I feel homesick. Yeah. Spoke to the club about it, and they were like, oh, mate, anytime you need to go home, we're here to help, you know. But I'm not one of those guys that want to be selfish and hurt my teammates by just going home. So it was good that I had the support, and that's all I needed, was the club to go, yep, we've got your back if you need anything. My partner's gone, yep, I've got your back. And that's like, oh, that gives me that reassurance. Okay, life's not as hard as I think it is. Should be sweet. So, or anytime I've gotten into trouble, like, and I'm not going to act like the most perfect guy out there. Like, I've always ran into trouble here and there. You know, I've always fallen short in places in my life. But the club sent me home as my reset point, you know, and they're going like, and my mum's always been there to give me the tough love and going like, you're a dickhead. Pull yourself together, like, you know. And I've gone, oh, like, you're all right. It's so easy to get lost in this life, you know. You get paid good money to do whatever you want, and you can go out and do it, whatever you want. You can eat at any restaurant you want, blah, 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 blah. And you're around guys that are all got the same as well. So for me, it's just, being able to go back to my mum and then
it's like you ground yourself in reality. Like,
literally.
Oh, that's so good that you have that ability to kind of recognize that and do it when you need to. There's obviously lots of ups and downs that come with this career. Do you think, you spoke about the Origin experience as being one of the hardest times in terms of the game, but how have you learnt from that? How do you get through those tough times?
Like for me, I love being around my teammates. So whenever I can get back to being around them or walking through Shark Park gates, I've always been a guy that has left my baggage at the front gate. So anytime I've had worries or stressed out about anything, with footy or without footy, I've always that's been my focal point to get back in and just, I don't think of anything else but serving my teammates and my club. And that's what's important for me. And my partner knows that too. When I'm in off season, I start to get the jitters. I'm like, I need to go back. Like, even I'll need a big break. Like, I'll play at the end of the year, like test and that, and then I just can't help myself. I'll be like 3 weeks, I'll party and get all of that out of my system, and then I'm like, nah, I need to go back. Like, I need to be around my teammates. And even when that Origin saga happened, the club were like, do you want to go home and spend time with your family and be away from the game? I said, that will make it a bit worse. Like, I need to be around my teammates. I need to embrace it. Because that's where I draw energy from. I draw it from them and they draw it from me. And it's like, and for me, it's anytime it's gotten hard for me, anytime I struggled with footy stuff, the club know I just need to be around my teammates. I don't need anyone to pamper me. And that's what the club were good with. Like, they said, look, it's happened, whatever. Like, none of my teammates asked me, oh, what happened? They're just like, they got on with life like usual. And that's the good thing about footy, is that it just keeps ticking along. A new week, a new problem comes up and you've got to solve it, right? And for me, I was just really happy that I could get back into that system straight away. And like I said, my teammates are good, my club are good. The boys still give me stick about it a little bit, which is good. Like, you got to have a laugh about it now. And Brandon Smith's a bit of a dickhead about it as well. We always joke about it. But it's not many people can say they got bounced from Origin on the day of. So
I mean, that's going to be history, right? That's a historic moment.
I still got the jersey too, so I said, hey, I've got a bit of history in my closet.
That
I'll
counts
take
something.
it. I got the first 18 man to get denied, so sucked in.
There you go. I think, though, unfortunately, like, what happens when something like that happened, like, you can deal with it and, as you said, be around the boys and be able to just keep moving and whatever. But what I'm sure happened then, and I've seen you even like call out on your Instagram and stuff, is like, people have something to say. And like, how do you find that? Because, what has been the turning point to see you kind of screenshot some of those messages and DMs from people who don't know you from a bar of soap and put them out there?
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, I don't reply, but I like to have a giggle with it sometimes. Like I'm one of those people like, oh, well, if you're going to be a smart ass, it's my turn. And I've got I'm pretty quick with it. Like I can, as everyone sees when I play, I'm pretty in there and I love to get where I shouldn't be. But, you know, like if you're going to give it, you got to be able to take it.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people on the field that if someone was to do anything that I did to them, I would not care.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, look, if I'm going to be that player that goes out and tries to get under people's skin, if they did the same thing back to me, you got to be ready to cop it, right?
Of
And
course.
I'm all for it. I'm like, oh, sweet.
Yeah.
But the funniest ones are like the sports betting stuff. Like that's the one that annoys me because it's like, I'm on the wing. What do you want me to do there? Like I'm not the one passing myself the ball, you know? Like, oh, then I'll go to hook and just scoot every time and just who cares
Just
about
for
the
your
game
bet,
plan?
like,
We won, but I didn't score.
Yeah.
Someone's like, oh, you scored 40 points and you didn't score one. I'm like, I'm not the one passing myself the ball. Like, my job's to run out of a corner and get smashed. Like, I just no, and like people are always gonna say stuff, and the funniest ones that I just can't get my head around. I have to bring myself back. It's always the couch coaches that are like, oh, this. I'm like, well, what do I care what they say? You know, like that's what I sometimes do. I'm like, what do I care what this guy says?
Yeah.
He's more invested in my life than I am of his. He's a grown man worrying about another grown man. So, the hardest thing was having to tell my family to not reply.
Yeah.
And because like my brothers and that, they just don't give a shit. They're ready to just fight their way out for me, you know. And even my mum, like I've had to reel her in and go, look, we live in this space. It's gonna happen. You know, everyone's got an opinion.
Yeah.
Cool, that's their opinion.
Yeah.
And the worst thing about that origin saga was, I don't know who it was. One of the reporters, I'm still off him. I can't remember who it was actually. He went in and said I was a liar, and like it was like, oh, he lied on his forms. And I was, and when the forms come out, I went to my club. I said, never did I ever lie on these forms. Go check the forms properly, bring it out. We brought all the forms out. I said, look at it, I answered it correctly all the way through. Yous picked me, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So that made me eligible. So I pressed yes on that eligible form the next year. Because yous picked me when I said no. Blah, blah, whatever the case was. And I was so off it because Fox League put out a thing on it. And I was filthy, man. I was just like, it was burning me that they portrayed me as a liar to save their own asses. And I was just like, oh, well, and then I would get like some dude that was just in there like, just, oh, he's an effing liar, this and this. And that's the one my family just wanted to turn around and go, wait, like before you start running your mouth, you know, and that's when it gets a bit ugly.
I think there's something about being called a liar that really just like, don't call me that.
And
like,
the worst was they've got these paperwork.
I could show you. I'm telling the truth.
But they've got the media portrayed it like their paperwork. They only showed just like this little bit here and dangled the carrot and go, oh, look at him, he's a liar. But I was just like, you missed the whole beginning of it. Like where so I just said, that was the hardest one to let go. I was just like, oh, like if I saw that reporter, I would spray him to his face and go, I'm never ever talking to you ever again in my life. Like, and that's the one that would just sit to me, and I'm just like, but internet trolls, I couldn't care less. I'm just like, so sometimes I'll reply and have a laugh at them. I get 16-year-olds telling me, oh, you stuffed my sports bet up. I'm like,
you should be betting.
Exactly. And I'm like, shut up, you idiot. And they're like, oh, I'm going to tell the NRL you called me an idiot. I was like, cool. You're the 16-year-old betting. Who's worse? So I'm just like, you can't battle me if you're doing something illegal, right? And then the worst ones, funniest ones, I'll message their parents.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty good with that.
That's a good way
I'm a
of
detective.
doing it.
I'll get all their messages. They'll be like, you effing this, that, like the worst shit you hear.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So I'll go search their name up on Facebook. See, you got to be smart here. So I'm going to search Facebook. Go look at everyone with their last name.
Find their mum and dad.
Find their mum and dad. Oh, there's mummy, daddy. Send their message. Oh, you raised a great son. And I've done it plenty of times, showed the boys and had a big giggle with it. I'm so sorry. My son never speak like that.
They're grounded forever.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, I'll sort him out. I was like, oh, someone's got to sort him out. Happy to go to the NRL and report him, mate, if he's on. And just full, like, give them a giggle like that. And me and the boys just sit around the locker and I was like, look at this, and give them a good show. And they love it. But you got to have fun with it sometimes.
And because I have seen you call it out publicly. And do you do that to discourage people and also, I don't know, like support other players who face the same thing?
Yeah, well, for me, it's definitely discourage people and go, look, if you're going to take it, like Trail's done it plenty of times, if you're going to take a free hit, or let's see how much you enjoy the free hit and how much you enjoy the publicity of it. And then on the other side of it, it's like, why can't anyone else protect us from that, you know?
Yeah.
And why should we just cop it? I hate when people go, oh, you get paid enough, just cop it. Well, when do you ever go to work and get called this color and that color and you this and this?
Yeah.
Like, when was that ever all right? Like, and I hate when people try and water it down and go, oh, man, crying your hundreds of thousands of dollars, whatever it is, you know, and who cares? It comes with the space. I just look at it and go, in any other job space, that is not normal.
Yeah.
But
you can be safe in the workplace.
You can be safe in your own workplace. They forget it's my job.
Yes.
They're like, oh, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's my job. Like I work from 7 a.m. to 3, whatever it is on my day. And that's still my job. Yeah. Except they get to go home and not be judged. I go home and be judged. Yeah. From the time I walk out of my car to inside my house, people are watching, you know? People need to understand we're humans. And I think you got to take a look at yourself if you're one of those people, you know? Like, I just don't know how it's all right to be that kind of person. And it's sad because you're sad. Like, they're sad people to be able to do that.
Yeah. The last little thing I wanted to talk to you about is you mentioned you like getting under people's skin on the field. Yeah. And I've seen you around the boys, you know, at my house with Nico and that and whatever. You have this sort of larger than life sort of, I don't know, like energy when you come in. I think a few weeks ago, you all came out the back at my place, and when you come in, you're just like, boom, Ronnie's here, right? Like, I was like, whoa. And I don't know, is fun with the boys, like it looks like it's something where you flourish, right? Like, tell me about that.
My missus hates it. She's like, oh, I feel like you love them more than me. I'm like, I just love being around my mates. Like, I just love being around people, you know? Like, I enjoy, that's my favorite part, is I'm such a people person. I love people watching. I love interacting with people. And like, sometimes I have my days where I don't want to talk to anyone. I'm like, I want to be left alone. But that's just who I am. Like, I want to be around people, making them laugh, making them smile, like enjoying it, and just being myself. Like, I get to be myself, and when I'm myself, that's when I'm the most happy. Like, and in those environments with my closest mates, I get to sit there and go have a joke or whatever it is, enjoy life. And every day I wake up, I'm just like, damn, how good, like, this is the best life. I'll be in my car playing tunes, like, on my way to training and going, like, this is my day. And I'm saying this constantly, like, this is my day. Like, this is my day. And I just love it, you know, like, I enjoy it. Like I said, my missus hates it. She's like, oh, why do you always got to go out? She's like a real homebody. Wants to be home with the doggy, like, enjoying movies and that. Yeah. Whereas me, I want to get out as soon as I can. Like, I want to... As soon as I wake up, I want to go for coffee somewhere or walk or, I don't know, anything. And she's like, oh, why don't you just stay home and have a coffee? We have bought a bloody expensive coffee machine and it gets used probably once or twice every bloody 2 months. But
what do you think people get wrong about you?
I don't blame them for getting it wrong, because I am like in your face, kind of thing. And I understand, like, no, I want to be that person that everyone loves to have in their team and hates to play against. And and that's how, like, and I said it heaps of times. I'm not, when I cross the white line, I'm a different person. I actually don't care about the other team. Like, I actually hate you. Like, it's a different type of hate that I feel like, I was telling this to the boys, I take it so personal that it's probably too personal sometimes. Okay, and that's probably my problem, is that I cross the white line and it's like, I feel like they're stealing from me. That's how I feel like. I know it sounds crazy, and I'm just like, this mother effer is stealing from me. Like, he's trying to take my life away. Like, my life, like,
you're at war.
Yeah, like, that's how I feel sometimes, and I'm just like, nah, he's not effing stepping in front of me and doing it. You know? Let's see. And I just take things personal, and then obviously when it gets too personal, that's where it gets a bit, and that's what me and Fitzy have been speaking about, is trying to rein it back and go, look, how can we balance that and bring the energy back into our teammates instead of external, where it's just gone wrong for me. So, and I think, like, everyone's going to have an opinion on me. I'm real Larry. I'm out there, and I understand that. But I encourage everyone, if you sit down with me and have a coffee, we'll be best buds after it. So,
yeah.
And that's all right. You know, you can't be everyone's cup of tea.
No.
Nico has gone through that as well.
Yeah.
Like, some of it not his fault. Like, and he's experienced it. I've shared that with Nico as well. I said, man, sometimes you got to be the villain. Who cares? Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, if you're going to be the villain, live the villain. Like, you
Yeah.
can't let everyone just love you all the time. You
Yeah.
got to have some adversity, but you can't be a rock solid person. And the best of the best players have gone through it, you know, like
Of course.
where everyone said something about them and that it's not going to be what you want, right? And it's never going to be what you want. But
Yeah.
for me, it's as long as my family know who I am, my teammates know who I am, and my community know who I am, nothing else matters to me. I'm going to be Ronaldo, and you can either enjoy it and jump on the Venga bus, or you can jump off and
Jump on the Venga bus.
or you can
It's
jump
like
off.
there's two Ronaldos. There's Ronaldo on the field and there's Ronaldo
Yeah, exactly.
off.
And I
that's
say that too.
fine.
I say as soon as I get back off the last whistle's blown,
Yeah.
I promise you, I'm a family man. I love my mates. I love life, and I'm just like, it's weird. Like, I'm just like this. I can switch it on and off, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever.
I love that. The last person I'll ask you about, you mentioned her a couple of times, is your partner, who's working upstairs at the
she's probably
moment.
looking after the dog that keeps barking in the background.
You know, she obviously is here with you through those ups and downs, and she sounds like so understanding and amazing.
Yeah.
How has she helped support you, even if she does think that you love the boys more than her?
I think I've had my best year of footy this year, just due to the fact that I've moved in or first settled in my life. And it's just something about them. They just know what to say at the right time, how to just cater to you. Like, and it's not a one-way street where she's got to do everything for me. I don't make it like that. I just go, look, I'm like, I always listen to her. I might be 80%, she might be 20%. And I've just got to carry that, you know, and it's just, we complement each other so well. She's starting to understand the person I am, like, which is really good. Like, it's taken a while for us to get to this point because I'm just such a out there. I want to be out there with my mates. And like I said, all the little stuff. And it's taken us 5 or so years to get like this, but it's just, we're coming into that real good time of our lives where we're in our house, we've got a dog that we really love and treat like a bloody kid. Gets more love than me, the prick. So. And then, before game days, if we're home, she'll cook me up my favorite spag bowl that I just love.
Yeah.
And she makes it. And little things like that. And there's so much, like, wash my undies and all my stuff. I just love it. Like, I'm like, yes, this is what life's about. Like, coming home after a hard day, dinner's on the table. And she's done working at herself as well. And then, every time, she's just doing all these little things for me that I don't take for granted. Like, some days I'm just coming home and I'm battered and bruised, and she's just done everything. Like, she's just a soldier, you know, and I love her to death for it. And so much of what I've done in my career so far has been to her. And we're just coming into our golden years, I think, that I'm really enjoying. And we were kids when we got together, and to be on the other end and be like, oh, no, I come here with nothing. I come here to Sydney with a suitcase that was half filled because I didn't have any clothes, because I was sharing with 4 other people in my house, you know. And now I've got a whole house. And I was sitting the other day going, look, babe, we've got a table, like little things like that. We've got a couch. We've got TV and all these things that we've accumulated over the years. And so it's just like, I'm proud of her as well. You know, she's like I said, a soldier, and I just I admire her so much for all her hard work. And I hope she's listening though. So get some brownie points in there.
We'll cut this up for you.
Make sure this is up in there. But just really proud of the person that she's become as well. And she's a real, like we speak about cultures and that, like our values align so much, and that's what makes it so much more easier, is that we value the same thing. Our value systems are the same, and she's even given me big groundings into reel it in as well. When I'm a fast lane person. Like, I'll see something, I'll buy it. I'm impulsive and anything. If I think about going movies, I'm gonna go movies. Where she's always been there to pump the brakes, cool it off, and let's just have a proper look at it. So, but yeah, like she loves my family to death.
Yeah.
She treats my twin brother like her little brother. Yeah. Buys him dinner all the time. I was like, he plays NRL now. Well, I ain't gonna buy him dinner. So she's always looking after us too.
Yeah.
Chasing after us, making sure the house is clean. She does not let me go. So, but yeah, I love her to death.
Yeah, it's awesome. And to hear you speak about obviously two incredibly strong women in your life, and obviously your mum raised you, and now you and your partner get to grow up together.
Yeah, grow old.
Yeah, and see, like you said, what you've achieved. You've got tables and couches
I
and
know,
everything.
everything. I got like stuff to here. I was like, yep.
Yeah.
It looks like we're stuck here now.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Ronaldo, thank you so much for sharing everything. This has been such a great conversation.
Thanks,
I think it's it's going to really stay with some people. So thank you.
Thank you.
I walked away from this conversation with Ronaldo with a huge smile on my face. He's got such an infectious energy about him, and the thought of him being on the phone to his mum every day at some point and that love he has for her is something else. Even that reflection as we're sitting on the couch in his place, how him and his partner have taken that time to reflect on how far they've come. It's so special and an amazing part to capture in Marlee and Me. Thank you for listening to this episode. A huge thank you to Ronaldo for making the time. And if you're enjoying the show, make sure you're hitting follow wherever you're listening. Give us a review. And make sure you're tuning into the next episode of Marlee and Me, which will feature the Sydney Roosters' Connor Watson.
There's still so many things I want to achieve, and in reality, I've still got a long time left. So like, go and make the most of it and have fun with it. And after the Achilles, I also had the same thoughts as well. Was just like, just enjoy it. Why did you play the game to start with? It was because you loved it. You loved having fun with your mates. And all you want to do was play NRL. Now you're doing that. Like, have that same perspective of having fun with it.
This year, NRL on 9 is your one-stop shop for all footy.
That's right, Freddie. Not about the highlights. Action. 7 days a week.
Billy and Gus podcast, get that on your drive on the way home. Immortal Behaviour. Grab a seat on the couch for that. And of course, my favourite, Freddie and the Onion.
The best footy brains, the biggest games.
Don't trust the algorithm. Subscribe to NRL on 9 and get all your entertainment there.